How long does it take to buy a property in the Czech Republic? Is it months or years? Now, our fastest transaction completed in something like 5 to 6 weeks, and the fastest mortgage approval was done in 3 working days. It's possible when you start with talking to the bank first and then start looking for a property. If you find a flat quickly and everything goes smoothly, then you can get it done in just under 3 months. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and since 2014 we've guided over 400 expat families through this exact process. Today I'm showing you the exact timeline, week by week, and the one mistake that can turn 8 weeks into many months. Because here's the thing, the difference isn't luck. It's not about knowing secret people or having special connections. It's about doing the things in the right order. Ready? Let's go. Here's what most people do when they decide to buy a flat in Prague. Step 1, openness reality. Step 2, fall in love with the flat. Step 3, make an offer. Step 4, apply for a mortgage. Step 5, get rejected, or even worse, get approved for less than what you thought. Step 6, start it over again. It's like going shopping without even knowing what's your budget. You fill your cart, you go to the checkout, and the card gets declined. It's embarrassing, time wasting, and it's completely avoidable. All right, let's walk through this step by step. Real timeline, real process. Now, most clients complete the full transaction in 3 to 4 months, not a year or longer. It is only in case if you're very picky about your property. And let me show you how exactly you can get this done. Before you even start looking at a single flat, you need 2 things. This is clarity and approval. In the beginning, let's stop for a moment and think, what do I actually want? What's my budget, or what's your budget? What location works for your life? How many rooms do we need? Do you know the difference between 1KK and 1+1? Our buyer's guide, which is a PDF you can download, has a whole section about this. Fill it out, be honest, because it will save you weeks of wasted viewings looking for something you might not really want, especially in couples. It's very important to align your expectations. Week 2, mortgage pre-approval. This is your green light. And here's the good news. Mortgage advisors in the Czech Republic are paid by the banks, and we get paid only at the end if we conclude the deal. And for meeting or for getting the pre-approval, you need 3 things: your ID, your income certificate, and your bank statements. The bank tells you also 3 things: your maximum loan amount, your interest rate, and conditions. Now you know exactly what you can afford. No guessing, no hope, just facts. So you have a clear criteria and a confirmed budget. Now you can hunt. Now, and only now, you start visiting the flats. But you're not browsing anymore, you're hunting for properties. You know your budget, you know your location, and you know what you want. Then you view properties, you shortlist your favorites, you make an offer, and you sign a reservation contract. With pre-approval, you can move fast when you find the right one. Other buyers are still waiting to hear from their banks, while you already know, and this is your competitive advantage. In real life, when clients find the desired property, I immediately call the agent to confirm pre-approval and suggest the next steps. Agents love it, because they have a professional to discuss the case with, and especially with expats, they're not worried that they have to explain everything in English, because we take care of helping the buyer and the real estate agents help the seller. Now, the lesson from this is, if you're pre-approved, we're able to proceed much faster. It's your competitive edge. Some clients find their dream property fast and some slower. But the key is, when you find it, you're ready to move, and we need to act swiftly, meaning the bank must be ready. The result of the second phase is that your property is reserved, but don't reserve just yet. Listen to 3 golden rules which you need to do. 3 golden rules. Listen carefully, because these 3 steps are non-negotiable. Skip them and you're asking for a trouble. Rule number 1, get pre-approved from the bank first. It means that the bank will review your documents, make sure you have sufficient income. If you're self-employed, this is especially interesting because they recalculate your income way differently than what you might think. Step number 2, get a lawyer at your disposal. helping you, because you need someone to explain to you all the legal implications of Czech documents. Even for the reservation contract, don't skip this one. It's actually more important in a way than the purchase contract. So make sure you have a lawyer ready to review your documents. This is step number 2. And step number 3 is do a bank valuation. It's especially needed if you are asking for 80 or 90% of financing, because the bank will follow the valuation report, not the asking price. So you want to know before you sign anything how much the bank valued the property for. I know it sounds like a lot of steps, and yes, it's a process, but all of it is to protect you. Now, yes, in some cases you might skip 1 or 2, but always have a good reason why you do it. Now, in practice, it will save you from overpaying more money than you actually need to, or how much you counted with. And the lawyer, now, yes, in 95% cases, there will be no problem, maybe 98, but the 2% of cases can cause you a lot of trouble. So definitely have a lawyer at your side. At this moment in the process, you are halfway done because you identified the property, your pre-approved lawyer checked everything, and the valuation ideally confirmed the asking price. Can you sign a reservation now? Yes, you can, and most likely nothing will go wrong. Why I'm saying most likely? The mortgage is still not fully approved, and it will not be, because you can't get to the next stage without signing the reservation contract. I will explain it in a moment. The reason is that to get the mortgage fully approved, we already need a draft of the purchase contract. And the agents will say, we're not giving you the draft because you haven't even signed the reservation contract. So this is the moment where you understand the risks. The risks are very low because you did all the right steps, and you go ahead and sign the reservation contract. Once you sign the reservation contract, it gets you about 1 to 2 months to finally sign the next purchase contract, but we will be much faster. If you did everything according to this example, you've done most of the bank things already. The only thing left to do is the final approval. To get to the final approval, we need to get draft of purchase contract. It is drafted by the agency lawyers. It is provided to you or to us to review it. The lawyer will review it, we give it to the bank, and about 1 week later, the mortgage is 100% fully approved. Congratulations! Now, in this scenario, when we followed the example and I was saying, this happens quite quickly. So let's imagine you signed the reservation contract, you pay your deposit, 1 week later, the draft is provided, we give it to the bank, and another week the mortgage is approved. So we theoretically don't need 2 months, we're done in 2 weeks, but it's good to have 2 months, because if something goes wrong, we might want to restart with another bank. Doesn't happen usually. When the mortgage is approved, you get the documentation from the bank, we will make the translation and a summary for you, and congratulations! Now you know for 100% how much the bank will give you. When everything is ready, it's the signing day, and this is the big day. There are 4 contracts to be done in 1 afternoon. Ideally. First, we go to the bank or to the mortgage bank, and you sign the mortgage documentation. Sometimes we sign it digitally in our office. Then you go to the lawyer's office, where you will sign the purchase contract with the seller, escrow contract with the seller and the lawyer, and then you also continue with the pledge contract, which is given by the bank. 4 contracts, a lot of Czech documents, but don't worry, because we explained everything to the clients, and the lawyer from our side is at your disposal if there needs to be some alignment. When everything is signed, you also transfer your down payment to the escrow account. This is usually 10 to 20% depending on your setup. Once you've paid your down payment, it's time to do the bank activation or drawdown. You have to fulfill so-called drawdown conditions, and these are specific items we need to deliver to the bank so they can physically release the money to the escrow. We need to do things such as submit the pledge document to the bank, confirmation from the escrow that you have paid your part of the money, copy of the documents, pledge, purchase, escrow, everything given to the bank. Now don't worry, you don't need to do all of these things if you have a mortgage advisor. If you're doing it alone with the bank, then maybe your lawyer will support you, but this is typically the broker's job. All of these documents are then taken to the bank. The bank does the drawdown, let's say in 1 week, and that means that 1 or 2 weeks after you signed the purchase contract, all the money is in the escrow contract. you fulfilled your obligations to pay the purchase price. Congratulations! This is the most important part because at the moment you've done everything you could have and now it's just the remaining of the process. We're almost done. Last part is ahead of us. When the purchase price is fully paid both from you and from the bank, the lawyers will bring the purchase contract to Katastr, to land registry. Last waiting time on your side because from the moment it's delivered to land registry, 20 plus calendar days, and you are registered as the owner. During this period, you're wondering, why are we waiting? What for? It's a protection mechanism because if someone else has any rights to the property, this is their chance to claim their rights. But rest assured, in none of the transactions I've experienced it ever happened, so it's rare protection mechanism. 20-something days, you don't need to watch anything because lawyers are doing it. When the change of ownership happens, maybe day 21, 22, you will be notified. The seller finally gets their money from the escrow and you get your keys. If you need to get the keys faster and the flat is perhaps empty, don't hesitate to ask the landlord or the owner or the agent because they might be willing to give you the keys even sooner. At this moment, congratulations, because you did everything you needed, the property is yours, you should get the keys and register yourself with the Homeowners Association, and you can celebrate. In this whole process, if you ask me what's the most complicated or longest time, it's the selection of the property. I like to tell the clients, we'll take care of everything else, bureaucracy, bank stuff. We will go with you to the signing of the purchase contract to make sure you understand everything, but we will not usually help you with finding the flat. This is on you, but as soon as you tell us, Robin, I found the property, what do I do? Rest assured, because from this moment, you will get the keys in about 2 months. So 2 months for after you identified the property, no more than 1 month before. Can we do it in 2-3 months? Yes, if you're quick on finding the property. So what can go wrong in all of this, if you ask me? What can cause some hiccups are maybe some misalignment with the bank. Maybe they're asking for more documents, but that's why you do it in the beginning. You don't do the bank negotiations or selecting the banks after you found the property, because we need to do it before so that you can act swiftly. This is a common mistake. Talk to the bank first. Second, hiccup can come with a valuation, especially for family houses. If the family house has a plot of land which is not registered correctly, this can be a deal breaker. It happened to me that, for example, there is a garage which is not rightfully registered there. The bank will not go through this. So sometimes during the valuation there are some surprises. But good news, because you are following this guide, meaning you didn't sign anything before the valuation done, so you avoided this surprise. What else takes time? It is the waiting, but nothing you can do about it at the very end when you're just waiting for the land registry to process this. And a common mistake, people try to do all of this on their own, and especially if you're in a different country, it's unnecessary step. We as mortgage advisors were paid by the banks when the deal is finalized. We don't take any advanced payments, so it's in our best interest to provide the service as clear and as good as possible so that the client is satisfied and the process goes as smooth as possible. There you have it. If you want to buy a property, it doesn't have to take you years. If you know what you want to buy, if you will act swiftly on the offers you will get, but if you do the pre-approval first, then you will get the transaction done in 3, maximum 4 months. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and if you want any help with buying a real estate in the Czech Republic, don't hesitate to get in touch.